say, well, just visualize it. Does it work at all? And then the North Star and the Southern Stars and all that. I don't have the expertise in astronomy to make those arguments, and frankly, I'm guessing you don't either. You know, when people make those arguments about the Southern Hemisphere and like you see stars here and not there and blah blah, it's like, okay, for people that just called a group of people douchebag idiots, your argument is based on an extreme knowledge of astronomy that you absolutely don't have. So, I mean, that's that. Is Mark Zuckerberg a pedo? Probably. Yeah, I mean, I would guess. I don't have any proof of that, but all right. So let's talk more about Eyes Wide Shut. So, Eyes Wide Shut freaks me out, man. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Like, it makes me it freaks me out because Stanley Kubrick was so obviously murdered. In his contract, he said that he had final cut of the movie, and at his level, you get those concessions. Like, you have final cut of the movie. And in his contract, it would be released the 30th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission, by the way, just to let you know. And the title of the movie is Eyes Wide Shut. And he's been screaming in subtle hints that he shot the moon landing, but that's a different story. He died, so he goes into the executives, to I think Warner Brothers, and he was very worried that they would be angry about parts of the movie, and they got into a fight. There was witnesses that there was yelling, and he refused to cut any of the movie. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. He died of a heart attack. And when people think that a heart attack means it's natural, it's not. The CIA developed a weapon that just hits you, and there's almost no hole at all. There's like no visible mark. You die of a heart attack, and that happens a lot. And so he had 23 minutes of the movie that the executives, after murdering him, he had no health issues. He didn't do drugs. I thought he was did a ton of blow, but apparently he didn't. And within a day or two after revealing the movie to the executives, he was dead.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Flat Earth Subgenius here. I'm live right now. I'm listening to Owen Benjamin. I'm about to spark a joint, and I'm drinking a nice OJ and vodka. Owen Benjamin thinks that if you call flat earthers retarded or idiots, that you're a retard idiot. So, how do you feel about that? Owen Benjamin.
You're a cunt. That takes that much time. 23 minutes is a plot. And so he showed people, I can only imagine. Please let me know what you think in the comment section or right now. What you think was in that 23 minutes. I have some ideas. But no one has ever seen it. It's not in the extended version. It's not anywhere. And you got to understand that he was making his masterpiece of revealing the pedophilic secret societies of Hollywood. And the plot of the movie itself is revealing, but not nearly as revealing as the symbols in the movie and the casting of the movie. Nicole Kidman comes from a family that it rivals the Catholic Church with land ownership in the world. They're in the top 5. Her family owns like the size of Indiana in Australia, and they're aptly named Kidman because her dad was one of the biggest pedophile sex trafficking people in history, apparently. And then this one woman came out revealing that he had ritualistically tortured her and she had witnessed all this stuff. And then he was murdered that week, I believe, in Singapore. And at first they said he died of a heart attack, and then they said he got thrown out of a building. It's insane. And so he was into, like, he was a psychologist, which is a lot of the people that control the media. They're coming out of Stanford. They're coming out of these, like, universities. There's a psychological department, the psych department. Blasey Ford was part of the psych department of Stanford. I mean, these are the people that control elements of the CIA. And so they're into mind control, and they're into child rape and how that affects the child's ability to be controlled. There's a reason that this trans movement is catching steam, especially with the little ones. It's because Satanism likes to make a mockery of the male, the masculine. That's why the Baphomet is a tranny. It's a man with breasts, and that comes, trans children and there's no trans children, but the children that think that they have a different gender, the vast majority have been raped by a family member. That's what they admit. Over 50% say that they were sexually abused as kids. So the number is probably much higher. And so that creates these multiple personalities. That creates the split in the psyche, the break of the third eye, the damage of the soul. And why do people want that? Because the damage allows them to control. And I was just damaged enough, personally, to understand it but not be controlled. It's an interesting thing. I don't know what it is. It's almost like the concept of a vaccination. I know that has a whole thing behind it, but when you have just enough of the antidote, just enough of the toxin to be immune to it, but at the same time, you got a little of the toxin.
All right. I'm going to switch to this real quick.
That thing. It'll take a few. You can fuck off. I'm not getting in that thing. It'll take a few years before I'm willing to climb into that sucker. But so the other problem with conspiracies, just to get back there for a moment, is the problem of anomalies. What do you do with anomalies? This is true in all science. No theory explains every single thing that's out there that we want to study. There's always going to be some quirky thing that the main theory here that explains all these things here doesn't account for that. Mm-hmm. Okay, what do we do with that? Well, my joke is you assign it to a grad student. They let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. But what outsiders mistake is that, well, my theory explains this little anomaly, so therefore it should replace this theory. And so people like Neil and Sean Carroll, Lawrence Krauss, Michio Kaku has 2 web pages. One, he has a link on his web page. If you have an alternative theory of physics, go to this page. So they go there, and it has, your theory has to explain all of these things over here that our theory currently explains, and whatever your set anomaly is. And of course they can't. So it's not that scientists are dogmatically closed-minded to the anomalies. It's that we can't explain everything, and you don't have to do anything with that. Just leave it there. Maybe eventually they'll pile up, and there'll be a new theory, like with Einstein's relativity. Okay, there's enough anomalies here, the orbit of Mercury and a few other things, and so we have to modify Newtonian physics a little bit. Okay, that happens. But for the most part, and so conspiracies are filled with these things. Like the moment something big happens, you go back and, okay, but there's this weird thing here. How to explain that? I don't know. We don't have to explain everything. Do you know that there's a growing movement that think that the space is fake?
Space is fake. No, this is different than the flat earth.
Google hashtag space is fake. Hashtag space is fake is people that are so fucking stupid the flat earthers kicked them out.
Oh my God.
For real. Flat earthers kicked out the space is fake people. Space is fake is, they're the most skeptical.
So what would be the upper atmosphere? Would be the edge of
the
universe?
Bullshit. It's all fake. And it's tied in some weird way to religion, which is really interesting. Mm-hmm. Because even the flat earth people, there's a tremendous amount of them that are extremely religious. And they talk about the firmament, the Bible, and that this is what's really going on, is that they're trying to keep us from the knowledge that God has created this place as a very special place.
Right.
And so by pretending that it's round, they somehow or another are controlling us. Right. Thinking that we're not exceptional. We're not lucky. Space is fake.
They're using a video from Ryan Gosling's movie he just made about Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon.
Yeah.
Just be like, this, look, here's proof. This is how they fake everything.
This is fake.
They're making a movie.
Because literally, the way they made the movie that's evidence that it's fake.
He's wearing I don't know if maybe this person doesn't recognize that as being Ryan Gosling right there. He's got a NASA suit on.
Maybe it's just a troll account. This is how NASA fakes everything. This is the video I was talking about, guys. Now you know it's all a big act. Hashtag space is fake. Click on space is fake, though.
That's what I'm on. I'm on the whole.
Yeah, but I mean, click on it because there's a bunch of other ones.
I'm on that thread.
There's a tremendous amount of people that literally believe that space is not real.
Google a video of how Buzz Aldrin and how he deals with the no me's that we never went to the moon. There's a video of Buzz Aldrin punching a guy.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
That guy. I had dinner with that guy.
You did?
The guy he punched. Yeah, I was a firm believer that we never went to the moon.
You were?
Yeah. This is what happened. I watched that Fox documentary, The Moon Conspiracy Theory, Did We Go? And I was like, holy shit. Because it was on television. And this was 96, 97. I remember I went to work and I told everybody, you got to see this documentary. It's crazy. We never went to the moon. And I watched that one, and I watched this guy's, what is his name? Bart Sibrel. Oh, yeah. So I had dinner with him. He absolutely believes that we never went to the moon. 100% believes it. I don't know if he still believes it. I think he's like a cab driver or something now. He was involved in the news or local television or something like that, back where he's from. Then he released a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And in his documentary, one of the things he did have is some really interesting footage of the lunar module, where it looks like they're faking a shot of them being really far out. But then when they remove the covers from all the windows that were inside the lunar, not the lunar module, what is the one that the orbiter? It really looks like they're in low Earth orbit. And this is like the main thing pointing to that, like, it couldn't get out of low Earth orbit. Then there was also the fact that they lost all of the telemetry data, which was the binary, the ones and zeros that show the position of the lunar module at every stage. There was a bunch of different things. The fact that no one wanted, especially Neil Armstrong, became a recluse, never wanted to talk about it. You go and watch the press conference. The press conference, they look very shady. Look like they're completely
but Buzz Aldrin's not like that. He talks to everybody.
He was drunk for a long time, though. He was very depressed and became an alcoholic after the moon landing. And the idea is that, in conspiracy circles, I'm talking as them, the idea is that he got over it after a while and needed to make a living and now talks about it constantly. But Neil Armstrong never did. The thing that's compelling is that there's some faking going on. If you look at Gemini 15? Michael Collins, there's an image of Michael Collins when they were testing some of the space walking stuff and some of the things they would do to walk outside of a spaceship. They had them all strapped up with cables, and they're just experimenting with these things. They took that photograph and then blacked out the background, probably some overzealous PR agent. And they blacked out the background. This is it right here. So what it is like, so the first one is clearly he's in a studio and they're working on things and just trying to understand how all this stuff works. And the second one, they took the exact same photo and just reversed it and blacked out the background. But it's just that doesn't mean that they didn't go to the moon. That just means that someone got a hold of some photographs and faked it. And it's way more likely that there was more of that going on than that people didn't actually go to the moon, right?
All right, and now I'm going to play a very bizarre Bill Nye interview.
This is Up Close with Bill Nye. I'm Joel Gallegos, a member of NASA's Board of Directors and Assistant Provost for International Programs at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
It's so good to be here.
We're delighted to have you with us.
So good to be had.
So, Mr. Nye, you've been an advocate for science education throughout your entire career. But while you focused at the start about getting our younger generations excited about science, you now focus on reminding we adults, the importance of science in our lives. And so are you surprised by that shift?
I'm not surprised. The troubling thing, let me put it this way. There are people running around today thinking that the Earth might be flat. That is pretty frustrating.
Yeah. So our conference theme this year, it's diverse voices, shared commitment. What does that mean to you?
Well, my big thing nowadays is, speaking of space exploration, when you look at the Earth from space, we live on a ball, and yet it's a large enough movement that I'm even talking about that the Earth might be flat.
Well, if I could follow up with that point.
Okay. You're going to be living in a dome, and when you go outside, you're going to put on a spacesuit, which is just a smaller dome.
So what's wrap?
And yet, it's a large enough movement that I'm even talking about that the Earth might be flat.
Well, if I could follow up with that point.
Okay. You're going to be living in a dome, and when you go outside, you're going to put on a spacesuit, which is just a smaller dome.
So what strategies can we as international education professionals employ to better support our students focused on science study?
Everybody knows the Earth is a sphere, right? Everybody knows that. Seen pictures, right? Yeah. Or a geoid, very close to a sphere. Yeah.
Your organization, the Planetary Society, advocates for space education and exploration.
Science.
So why is space exploration so important for?
Right. Yeah. everybody knows the Earth is a sphere, right? Everybody knows that. Seeing
Vision perfect.
everybody knows the Earth is a sphere, right? Everybody knows that. Seeing pictures, right?
Yeah.
Or a geoid very close to a sphere. Yeah.
Your organization, the Planetary Society, advocates for space education and exploration.
Science.
So why is space exploration so important for today's global citizens?
The technology that derives from space is extraordinary. We wouldn't have the internet without NASA, for example. None of this would be possible without science.
What needs to be done now? What can we do to ensure our planet's health for the next generation?
We have people in Antarctica doing very important research, but you don't go there to raise your family. There's no playgrounds with swing sets and so on. So a presidential candidate did not have a child trafficking ring in a pizza restaurant near the White House in the U.S. That didn't happen. There's no playgrounds with swing. People in Antarctica doing very important research, but you don't go there to raise your family. There's no playgrounds with swing sets and so on. So a presidential candidate did not have a child trafficking ring in a pizza restaurant near the White House in the U.S. That didn't happen. And so this is what the Planetary Society works on. The Earth is not flat.
Well, that was the perfect segue into my next question. You suggested that for the U.S. to remain globally competitive, it must be open to new ideas, many of which comes from scientific research. And so how can we as educators best communicate and convey the importance of evidence-based information?
Well, first of all, as an educator, we want science every day in every grade, from preschool through high school. And then every liberal arts institution, no matter what it is, should have, in my opinion, some science requirements, especially what you might call the philosophy, what we used to call natural philosophy. And so you've got to learn why it changes. Why do we change our views of certain of the cosmos and our place within it? The chances that there are life on Mars, that there used to be people used to think there were canals of water, and they're not canals of water. And then the efficacy of vaccines. And
as you mentioned research, as we think about our group here this week in Philadelphia, what are your thoughts on the values and impact that international students and scholars have who work or study at our universities in the United States?
Mickey Mouse is in China, for crying out loud. McDonald's is worldwide. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm saying that's just a feature. And so having people exposed to where that all starts, I think, is of great value.
How can we as educators and our students rethink our approach, solving today's biggest problems, especially when working with international colleagues and partners who often share different viewpoints, perspectives, or political perspectives?
So, times space exploration brings out the best in us. By us, I mean citizens of the world. And the second very real thing, and I'm not kidding, a key idea, I think, in let's call it global peace, is centralized government. And I think that's priceless.
It certainly aligns with
think about it globally. It's raising the standard of living of girls and women. But it's a hard thing to do. Anyway, if we were talking about climate change, if we were talking about other important issues, what went on in Ferguson, Missouri, or Baltimore, or Charlottesville, we would be getting it done.
Do you fucking hear this guy? Do you fucking hear this? Just listen to what he just said.
If we were talking about climate change, if we were talking about other important issues, what went on in Ferguson, Missouri, or Baltimore, or Charlottesville, we'd be getting it done.
In terms of that.
What in fuck's Christ did you just say?
if we were talking about climate change, the way we're talking about other important issues, what went on in Ferguson, Missouri, or Baltimore, or Charlottesville, we'd be getting it done.
In terms of that collaboration, at our conference this year, we have a program focused on the STEM field, specifically on rethinking our approaches to 21st century global challenges.
Well, people whose perspectives are different from yours are wrong, right?
Well, I greatly appreciate your perspective in encouraging us all to be the change that we would like to see in the world.
And a big insight, everybody, just keep in mind, farming is not natural.
Well, our conference is focused on increasing opportunities for international education and exchange for all students, regardless of backgrounds or academic or career goals. And so why do you see this as the benefit? So beyond getting to know one another, what are some of the more intrinsic benefits of this international education exchange?
I've been to Africa just a couple times. You can meet people who have long traditions of superstition, long traditions of anecdotes. Getting those people in the developing world to evaluate evidence properly is the new challenge.
So thank you again
for
joining us this afternoon, Mr. Knight.
I cannot stomach this shit. I can't. You guys do it. You're amazing. Every day I spend my time.
It's Puerto Ricans. I'm 90% sure it's Puerto Ricans. Like, by the way, what I just said, it's more likely Puerto Ricans than it is that astronomers and physicists are right about dark matter. Dark matter makes no sense. And if it doesn't, see, I'm at the IQ level where I'm not Einstein. I can't come up with a lot of this shit. I cannot do the math for the theory of relativity. But if you can't explain it to me, it's garbage. Because that means no one understands. Like, most people have no shot at understanding. And so I can confidently be like, let's start again. Let's start again. And if only you and your autistic fucking expert math brain understands it, it puts way too much power into a tiny group of people, right? Just like the Catholic Church, when they used to be, no one spoke Latin. It was before Martin Luther. And by the way, calling Jesus Jewish is like calling Martin Luther Catholic. You're kind of missing a big part of the story. That's pretty funny. But, the Catholic Church would be like, oh, give us some money, money, us. And people would be like, what are you saying? And they're like, it is only for us to know. Not you, but we swear what we're saying is true. If you give us a bucket of gold, you can rape a child and still go to heaven. And then they translated the Bible into the language that the peasants could read, and then there was peasant wars for like 100 years because everyone fucking spiraled. It's the same thing with these mathematicians where it's like, trust us, all the math checks out. You don't understand because you're stupid. It's like, listen, nigger, I'm smart enough to know that you can't pull that on me. I'm not smart enough to fucking come up with a whole thing. And by the way, in my mind, the person I just called a nigger was Jewish, so don't get offended. Black insult. Yeah. Oh, somebody give us money, our money. The scientists all sound like Ben Shapiro. I know, just sarcasm and snark. Listen, I mean, vaccinate your kids. I mean, just vaccinate your kids, and we should go to Syria and buy gold and buy life insurance. Even though I'm Ben Shapiro. I'm incredibly short. YouTube vid. Yes, little Timmy, the ether does exist, and proof of the same is everywhere around you. Interesting short experiment pertaining to this. Well, I mean, Isaac Newton believed in the ether. Follow up with me if you want a conversation on the shenanigans from last night. Keep on keeping on, baby. I don't know what you're referring to, but I wouldn't call it shenanigans. Oh, and you're like a woke Jesse Pinkman. I love it. A lot less meth. Proper outdoor use. Suitable RJ45 Ethernet cable. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Jordan Peterson's hot cousin. We can do it right now. Massive Bear exits from the lands of throttle bitrate to stream.me. Everyone on stream. But everybody sign up for stream.me/Owen Benjamin Comedy. I'm going to finish. This is over an hour. I'm going to finish this one. But I will in the future probably only be there. Well, I mean, it is a bitch of 210,000 fucking people here. But, you know, sometimes you just have to burn. You have to burn the forest down and go somewhere new. Any BB stream is better than being banned. Thank you, InfoWars there. Big Bear persisted. True. Marissa Berenson, who starred in Barry Lyndon, was photographed with the Satanic Rothschilds in the 70s, and her sister, Barry Berenson, died in one of the planes that crashed in World Trade Center. Very strange. Guys, I mean, when you look into the family histories of these people, it's insane. You got to pay the piper. People think, when Theo Vine, these guys joke about, like, dabbling in the dark arts. You're like, yo, nigga, I'm using them dark arts, man. I'm fucking coming up. It's like, well, your head may be used as a sex object. After it's decapitated by someone above you in the shame pyramid, you are now without a soul. Do people not understand what you're giving up? You give up your fucking soul. Your soul. What are you guys talking about? Yeah. Over 3,500 people here now that I can see, 3,700 people. Yeah, well, they keep fucking with that, too. It's like, it's all good. I mean, we have such an awesome audience. Like, you guys are such good people. As hard as I can be on the bannings, it's helped overall. Let me see if my camera's working again. Hang on. Thanks for sticking through this. I know I'm not always the easiest bear, you know, but I'm a good bear if you give me a chance. Is this working yet? Let me take a little look here. No, why would it work? Why would something?
Owen's right, Tacone. I've been in the.
That just makes no sense.
I've
right?
been in the machine myself.
Why would it work? Cross-sided bear. People say I bitch tits. Yeah, look at that shit. When I peak, I was benching well over 300 pounds. Sided bear. Look at these titties. Is that a good bear? If you weren't so jacked up on blow, you wouldn't just keep saying, I can't feel my face, I can't feel my face, punch me in the face, we're never going to die, we're never going to die. Will you shut up, Psychic Bear? God, he hates Jews. He hates Jews. All right.
Yeah, so Owen Benjamin thinks that time and gravity will somehow help him prove the shape of the Earth. That's just not going to work, Owen. Gravity doesn't exist. Time barely exists. Time is only a temporary thing. And gravity doesn't exist. Density and buoyancy exist. Mass and volume exist.
So what do I have now? My wife doesn't trust strangers, so I can't have anyone over to, like, fucking help. And she has a right to not trust strangers. She knows the people out there that want to take down the bear. They're awesome, and I really enjoy your streams. Thank you, Chris. Very nice of you. What do you call a man with a rubber toe? Roberto. Oh.
I was told by a DMT elf when I was thinking about my life. The DMT elves were talking amongst themselves and laughing and pretty much narrating a comedy scene, just using me as their comedy scene. And actually, I was thinking about going on stage. Well, I was going on stage the very next day And so I was thinking about my what I was going to say during my comedy bit, and they picked up on me thinking about what I was going to do with my time and life and my comedy bit the very next day when I was on stage. And they're like, two of them at least, were like, he's thinking about time. He's thinking about his life. They're like, hey buddy, they broke the fourth wall. They broke the fourth wall, and he's like, hey buddy, you are time. You are time. Stupid. Hey Dan, you are time. And I was like, oh. And I looked at the time, and it was 6:16.
Oh, and why not expose Joe Rogan? Do you have sources? No, I don't. And I'm not an exposure like that when it's not my story to tell and it's not about kids. It's not about exposing. He's a fucking shill. He works for people. It's just a fact. I'm not gonna go with rumors because rumors usually guys, I'm having a hard time arguing the fucking Earth is a sphere. As much as you think I'm a loose cannon, I don't like arguing points that I can't stick to. And if I start going off like what certain people told me that you don't know and all this shit, like obvious tendencies of people and this to do this and blah blah blah, there's no value in that. It just makes me look like a dumb fuck. And
Oh, I know, Owen. I know you're having a hard time proving that the Earth is a ball. I know.
Yeah. Guys, he's a mess. Alex Jones is right about a lot of shit, by the way. About a lot of shit. Rogan does a better job exposing himself than BB ever could. Fucking perfect point, Hennessy Bear. Let people expose themselves. That sounded bad. Stop laughing, Psychic Bear. You're such a pervert when you don't whack on. All right, this computer's slow as shit. I'm not going to take responsibility though, because it's just. I mean, if Apple, like the newest Apple computer, it doesn't cut it, that's retarded. How can we circumvent the globe? But you have to do some. Now, what do you think it is? Yeah.
The Clockwork Elves. Don't let the Clockwork Elves get you. I love smoking a joint and watching an amazing comedian go through his cognitive dissonance.
Guys, I'm being targeted. I'm not trying to be like victim-y or whatever, but this isn't about my tech. Say what you will, it isn't. It's like I've done this enough to know when something is totally fucking manual.
Oh, what do you know?
Like the fucking Wi-Fi in my house is so fast, it's insanity. And this is a very basic fucking technology. I updated all my programs, all this shit. This is total bullshit. I'm gonna get through this though because I don't want to ignore some of these super chats because some of these are very generous. I'll just skip the higher ones. The flight from Laos to LA had to make an emergency stop in Alaska. Pure or flat, we're being lied to. Also, the Air Force is the only branch of the military that travels to Antarctica. Something strange about that branch of the military. That's what I'm saying, man. It's fucked up, and we all know it is. Big Bear, please try to focus on whether or not there is curvature before considering anything else if you can. If the Earth is a ball, it has to have curvature. It doesn't have curvature.
And some folks need to smoke DMT more than once.
No, sorry.
I've smoked DMT like a dozen times.
I don't know how you do emojis, so I'm just going to have to give you 10 Joe Rogans for your live stream. I love your willingness to push through the pain and consequences of truth and honesty. Thanks, Davey. It means a lot, buddy.
Nice.
Jared Bonner introduced me to you back in 2014.
Eric Dubé is in Owen's chat.
Saw you again in Portland, loving the new content, man. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, he's a good guy. Big Bear, I love your questioning on this. A few years back, there was an Aussie girl who was the youngest female to sail solo around the world. Would this have been possible if the Earth was flat? Love your work. Colorless Bear. Well, if she's a woman and she's Australian, she's probably a liar. All right. I've pushed no fat in November into January, and now I can levitate and see through walls. That's hilarious. Imagine if not whacking off meant you could see through walls. But see, then you just kept wanting to whack off because you could just see everybody being naked and banging and everything. That would be a hilarious irony.
Karen B, Zulu, and Eric Dubé are chilling over in Owen's chat room right now.
But see, once you go enough away from porn and stuff, like when I just said that out loud, and I'm not trying to sound whatever, like I have lust and rage and all that shit. But like I wouldn't even want to whack off to strangers just like fucking in their house if I could see through their walls. I would feel like that would be weird. I'd rather build a fence. And that isn't because I'm getting old either. I'm only 38, and I still have a very high testosterone and HGH levels. Curvature is key, Big Bear. You can figure it out. I've shot J-band RF fire control radar much further than the mathematics of a 24,000 mile circumference ball allows it. It requires line of sight. Curvature is key, Big Bear. You can figure it out. I've shot a band. I don't know what that means. Radar much further than mathematics of a... Yeah, the curvature is a joke. So, I mean, weird. With the flat Earth thing is, it's very compelling. I watched the movie yesterday. It's an incredibly compelling story, beautifully shot, and yes, dark as in night.
Yes, I know the flat Earth is very compelling, Owen Benjamin. Oh man, it was instant for me. As you should know, I was a hollow earther in 2009. I was an expanding earther around the same time. So I was an expanding. The ball Earth is expanding, and the ball is hollow, and it's growing bigger. And then I came across Nassim Haramein's material. So then my new heliocentric model, I also started writing about the cosmology of the universe and trying to figure it out in 2007. And so I was writing about exactly, I was writing and describing the universe at large, about how there used to be dinosaurs fighting and killing one another, and that how there's a giant ball of flame that's going to someday die, and that we're a infinitesimal speck of nothingness that came out of nothing. I was writing about that in 2007 in my book that I've yet to really go into, because every time I go into it, people steal my ideas, and steal the premise, and steal the plot of my book. I've only told it to a few people, a lucky dozen, and a lot of them come away suddenly wanting to write a book, or they suddenly are instantly, oh, I started writing a book, and it's just such a strange thing how it's very similar to mine. It's like, dude, get your own idea.
Oh. You know, and once you kill the animals, it's like you realize how easy it is.
Jesus. So yeah. So then I came across Nassim Haramein's stuff, and then my ball Earth, my expanding, growing ball Earth, hollow ball Earth, was flying through space in a vortex spiral pattern to God knows where. And then that was like for like 2 years. And then I started questioning gravity, and at the same time the moon landing. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon. I watched that documentary. And then I went to Esalen. And then when I came back from Esalen, I started reading A Cosmic Trigger 1 and the Illuminatus trilogy. And in them, Robert Anton Wilson uses the flat earth as thought experiments. And flat earth versus globe earth, ball earth, spherical earth. Robert Anton Wilson talks about it extensively in his fiction and nonfiction. And then I found Math Powerland and Eric Dubé's 200 Proofs and Math Powerland's comedy. Funny thing happened on the way to the moon. I'm like, all right, well, now it's flat. So that shit was a smooth transition for me. Mark Sargent's Clues, ODD, Patricia, Jeranism, some other dude who sounds like Jeranism, Wakey Wakey. Yeah, I thought Wakey Wakey was Jeranism for a while, for like years, for like 2 years. I've been around since the very fucking beginning. I've seen what everyone has been doing. I predicted the rise and fall of many people. And now I correspond with Math and Eric and anyone I really want to. I would like to talk with Santos Bonacci more. I would love to have a meat eating versus plants and vegetable discourse with Santos to bridge the gap for lots of meat eaters and plant eaters in the flat earth community, because there's a lot of infighting between the plant eaters and the meat eaters, and me being a meat eater and Santos being a plant eater, and him and I talking without me calling him a weak-bodied, mentally ill idiot, and without him calling me a mentally weak and carcass crunching Satanist, blood drinker. I think we could bridge a lot of gaps between meat eaters and flat earthers, Santos, Bonacci, and I. And Santos and I have been connected since for almost 10 years now. So like, even though he despises meat eaters, he still should be patient and kind enough to have a very in-depth and long and understanding discussion with myself, because he can talk for hours and I can talk for hours, but I'd rather I don't know, I'd rather go back and forth. I just have to set something up with him. I know he's getting healthy again, but I want to see a lot of peace talks in 2019. I want to see Eric Dubé and Math Powerland have their peace talks, flat earth peace talks, and I'll be the mediator. I'll be the mediator for a lot of the Christian flat earthers. I know there's a lot of Christian flat earthers who have their points of view misrepresented, and I'm sure I'd love to have a Christian flat earthers come on and tell me fix up their point of view about God, Jesus, and what Bible they subscribe to, which I would presume to be King James Version. So, but yeah, reaching out to Eric Dubé and Math Powerland, and I will be the referee for your talk. You guys have a talk it out. Because once you two talk it out, and then everyone else will just have to shut the fuck up. And if you guys don't talk it out, then, well, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the flat world. And if Owen Benjamin ends up ditching out and flaking out on his debate with Eric Dubé, well, it's not the end of the world. Then maybe he'll have a debate and discussion with Math Powerland instead, or ODD TV, or myself, or Santos Bonacci. What's up, Judith? What are you thinking about, Judith? Yeah, farmland kills off animals and bugs too. And yeah, just as destructive. I saw Nassim give a great talk at a meditation festival last summer. Oh, that's cool. Elliot Hall. I'm non-denominational, non-religious. I prefer spirituality. What's up, Judith? Got 11 people watching here. You guys have any questions?
And don't know what to say, the vibe is drowning out. Depression on a train, now you're gonna die. Yourself you wanna say, then you scream and shout. Sure it's like the
What's not good? What's not good, Judith? You know, I'll show you some pretty screwed up Discordian stuff real quick. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You gotta be more specific.
With Wix, you can create a professional website that looks stunning. Just go to...
Look at that, talked about a cyber wedding, does it not? Your other books,
Okay. Nah. It's the nicest Nazi I've ever seen, Judith. That is a very nice Nazi.
It's such a struggle keeping up with the fucking bandwidth. I'm down to 100 bits. I usually do 2,500. 2,500. I like to keep my image crisp. Not anymore. Not because of the Jews. The Jews, man, they ruin everything. Because I like to say stuff that I know people will clip and take out of context, it makes me like giddy laugh. Like it makes me really, really laugh. Where it's like, Jews ruin everything. And some asshole will just take that and be like, look at what Owen said in his podcast. He's an anti-Semite, even though I don't even know what the word is. Wonder what I might do? I might bail on YouTube tonight and live stream on Instagram and just play you guys some tunes. I'll read these PayPals and then I will do that. Because fuck, I'm just, it's a constant education. But I'm going to read some of these up. Some of these, people sending some very generous to the chat and I feel like an asshole. Hey, BB, you ever get to that song I made for you? If so, how'd you like it? I have not. Please send it again. Unbearablecomedy@gmail and why did they laugh at Gmail. CC both of us. So if we've never been to Antarctica, then March of the Penguins is a lie. I will never trust Morgan Freeman again. You should never trust Morgan Freeman. I'll tell you why. Because he's so deep into Satanism. His fucking daughter got stabbed to death in the street over it. Yeah, look into it. Do your own research. Hey, BB, Shade Bear here. Don't know if you got hit by that windstorm that just blew through, but I worked a 48-hour shift climbing and cutting trees after that bitch. Dude, I want to be your groundsman a little bit. I missed that shit, dude. Hit me up. Only 27 more days to break Peterson's record. I started seeing shadow people. But but do I need therapy after that? Fuck no. And fuck the APA. Dude, I want to hang out, Jared. You sound awesome. I miss tree work.
Oh, and there it goes. Owen Benjamin has been sniped. Yeah, he's being targeted. Oh well, he's out. Owen is off. Well, Owen just got cut off. All right, well, in that case, I guess I'll just smoke this bowl and show you these two videos, talk a little bit more, interact with the chat room, and I guess call it a night. Okay.
One of your other books, actually two books, on this gentleman, Kerry Thornley. Now, this was not a person that I was aware of until I learned about you. And Kerry Thornley, if I got this straight, young man, high school student, Whittier, California, with a buddy, Greg Hill. They go to the bowling alley, as one does. Nice, clean-cut Americans. They go to the bowling alley, which, depending on the story, they can get coffee at or beer or both. And they dream up a fake religion. Or it was revealed to them, or they discovered or had a vision. Or talk about that. Tell us, for the people out there who don't know what discordianism is and who this gentleman right here is. Tell us a little bit about this.
Kerry Thornley there in Great Hill. So they've been described by people who I know as and at that time as free thinking. There were a couple of oddballs, and actually they got involved. They had an interesting crackpot course. I used to visit. Who knows, they might have gone out to try and rock it sometime. But they meet in a bowling alley and have philosophical conversations about all kinds of things under the sun. And at one point it got around to, why is there so much chaos in the world, And we had all these deities, supposedly religious deities that bring order, but it doesn't seem to work. Maybe order is just man's perception of trying to order a chaotic universe that we're never going to really be able to bring true order in. What we need, Gary said, formally is our own religion dedicated to chaos. And Great Hill said, there already is a god or a goddess named Eris in Greek mythology. She's the goddess of chaos and discord. Hot damn, what started religion? It was basically a spoof religion to poke fun at major religions and just kind of goof off. And it eventually evolved into the Bible of Discordia, Principia Discordia, which evolved over the years with a number of people got involved in Discordianism, like Robert Antoniesi, Robert Shea, and Principia Discordia became a huge influence on the Illuminatus. And Discordianism, oddly enough, is, this started as an in-joke between a few friends. Nowadays, if you get on the internet, you see thousands of Discordians worldwide. These guys have no idea that that's spooky religion.
So people take this seriously, or they're just playing along?
Discordians are all different. You shouldn't take it too seriously.
Right.
But then again, Thornley, interesting character. He met Oswald in the Marines. This was 58 is when they discovered Discordianism. In 59, he met Lee Harvey Oswald in the Marines.
Hold on. This guy right here met Lee Harvey Oswald in the Marines. It gets crazier from here on out. Keep going.
So Thornley, he was a budding writer, and he started working on a book called The Idle Warriors, being in the military during the Cold War period, and started working on this book, and it was based on composite characters of himself. Oswald, he'd known Oswald a couple of months, was intrigued by him, and other Marines were the composite characters. So
is this El Toro?
El Toro, okay. So Thornley goes to Japan, he's working on this book, and when he gets over to Japan at Batsugi, he hears that Oswald is suspected the Russian. At that time, Thornley decides, wow, great story, I'm going to base this book entirely on Oswald. So he's writing a book about Oswald 3 years before the Kennedy assassination. Thornley went on to testify before the Warren Commission about knowing Oswald, and in early 1968, Garrison started his investigation. He claimed that Harry Thornley was a diabolical CIA agent, and one of the notorious Oswald doubles running around pretending to be Oswald. Basically, was part of some JFK assassination conspiracy. Where Thornley denied all of this, but in later years, he began to suspect that maybe worshiping the goddess of chaos and discord wasn't the wisest thing.
Yeah, obviously not.
Exhibit A talks about a cyber wedding, does it not?
Yes, it does.
Are you married in cyberspace?
What we have here is a document called a
Sure, Mar.
Are you married in cyberspace?
If you want to read this document and draw that conclusion, you may.
I'm not asking you to impart my conclusion. I'm asking you whether you are married in cyberspace. Please, yes or no.
I don't think it is yes or no. I don't think that there's any jurisdiction that would recognize this facetious article as constituting a marriage.
Then your characterization of the article is facetious.
How
Did you write it?
No.
Who wrote it?
It is the result of a computer software program which is on another website.
Is it your position that everything in that what's marked as Exhibit A is facetious in nature?
No.
Okay, then let's eliminate the facetious stuff and go to the non-facetious stuff. The non-facetious stuff also talks about being married in cyberspace.
It does?
I'm asking you this one.
I don't see say that nature.
You see Danny Rowland's writings in there? Do you recognize them as Danny Rowland's writings?
Danny Rowland's right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What is he saying about?
You want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Miss London is what is commonly termed a hostile witness. I-net wedding. Just a few close friends at the ceremony. Reception at Disney Online. 2-NY at COM-FMTT3. Sandra, the movie star Elysium Alessia, and I, the hallucinated alien, the Gainesville slasher. Danny, do you take this Princess Supreme Elysium Alessia as your subgenius wife in spiritual matrimony? Quote, I do. And Sandra, do you take this hallucinated alien as your king? And Sandra, in your substances supreme Elysian Alessia. Danny, do you take this Princess Supreme Elysian Alessia as your subgenius wife in spiritual?
What the fuck is going on here? Danny, do I take?
As your subgenius wife in spiritual matrimony. Quote, I do. And Sandra, do you take this hallucinated alien as your caged knight, for better or worse? And the lady says, I think so. Then so be it. You may kiss now. What? Good sugar. The movie star and hallucinated alien forever. Amen. Bonsoir, ma chérie. Love always, your Dan.
Is that also done in humor and facetiousness, or are you?
It's hard to tell.
You don't consider yourself married in cyberspace, do you?
No.
Why'd you put that on the webpage? Or put it on the internet?
I'm a Discordian.
What history does that tell?
You see, I don't understand your question.
You said you're a historian.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I am a Discordian.
What does a Discordian do about putting items like that on the internet? How does that relate?
It's a kind of a deep subject. You really want me to discuss this here?
Discordian do.
I didn't say that.
Tell.
You see, I don't.
On the webpage. I'll put it on the internet.
I'm a Discordian.
What history does that tell?
You see, I don't understand your question.
You said you're a historian.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I am a Discordian.
What does a Discordian do about putting items like that on the internet? How does that relate?
It's a kind of a deep subject. You really want me to discuss this here?
As briefly as you can.
I'll tell you about Eris Discordia, who is the Greco-Roman goddess who tossed the provocative item into the set of the gods and then left the main grand gods and goddesses to fight for who deserved the designation prettiest one. Now, as you know, Paris intervened and offered different bribes to the various goddesses, and the one that bought the bribe was Venus, and who guaranteed the hand of the most beautiful woman in the world, who turned out to be Helen of Troy. Thus, it resulted in the Trojan War. And so therefore, when I say I am a Discordian, I would say that a lot of my philosophical background would emanate from the model of the goddess Eris Discordia.
So then there's nothing there that explains to the world why Danny Rollins is a serial killer. Is it?
Yeah. Swimming in that dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Exhibit B, Valentine's love letters.
Okay.
I assume you put those on the internet as well?
Yes.
And I suppose you did that because you are a Discordian?
No.
What purpose do those letters serve to inform the public as to why Danny Rollins is a serial
That's a
killer?
very good question.
That's why I asked you.
As you know, the crimes he committed were ostensibly sexually motivated, and I think that there's been quite a lot of discussion about this offender's relationship with women, womankind, or how he sees women. And I find it very enlightening to examine the way he sees the woman in his life, which would be me. If there were any changes in his expression, that too would be equally relevant, which I would expect anytime.
And all of those explanations are on the webpage as well, are they not?
Excuse me, oh, what?
The explanation you just testified.
No.
Huh. So the public has no idea why you put those on the webpage.
Like Eris Discordia, I just toss the provocative items into the fray and let them argue about it.
Oh, that's so fucking trippy. Little history lesson on the religion or the society of Discordianism. And then an interview, well, not really an interview, a live, very strange live scene caught inside a courthouse of a clear Discordian talking about a subgenius she was married to. And it was just very strange. Talking about serial killers and very weird. Had nothing to do with subgenius or Discordianism. Man, oh man, was that weird. Fucking strange stuff. Conan says that was fun. See, that's the whole point. It's supposed to be fun. You get a history on Discordianism, and you get to see a very strange testimony, live testimony in court. It's very weird. Yo, what's up, Boost? It's been a while, man. Yo, what's up, THC? But I think I'm going to get out of here. I don't really have anything left to go over. I mean, Owen Benjamin, he's admitting he can't prove the flat Earth, and he can't prove the ball Earth. He's going to stay a sphere Earther so he doesn't get made fun of by his fellow comedians. But he is saying that flat Earth is very compelling and has very good arguments. And so we'll see what happens. I don't know, man. Owen thinks that time and gravity can prove the ball Earth. Gravity and time cannot help you prove the ball Earth, Owen. Okay, so I'm gonna get going here, and I'm gonna do something more productive with my time. And I'm glad you were here chilling with me. I'm gonna go clean up and organize, and read a business plan, and read the business plan, the successful business plan, and create a business plan. So have a good night, everyone.